Hey, Earthlings! Are you ready to learn English with us? Let's go!
Hello, Earthlings. Welcome back to AlienLingo.
I'm Ty.
And I'm Mav.
And today, we're talking about a problem that drives English learners crazy.
A problem that millions of learners struggle with every single day.
Understanding fast English.
Have you ever watched a movie, listened to a podcast, or talked to a native speaker and thought, why are they talking so fast?
Or maybe you've had this experience. You study English, you learn vocabulary, you learn grammar, you understand subtitles, you feel confident. Then a native speaker starts talking, and suddenly your brain says, nope.
If that's happened to you, don't worry, you're not alone. And today's episode might completely change the way you think about listening.
Can I be honest?
Of course, Ty.
Sometimes native speakers sound like they're speaking one giant word.
That's actually the perfect way to describe it.
Really?
Absolutely. And here's the interesting thing. Most of the time, native speakers are not speaking as fast as you think.
Wait, what?
The problem usually isn't speed. The problem is that your brain is expecting English to sound different.
Okay, you have my attention.
Good, because by the end of this episode, you'll understand why English sounds fast, what native speakers are really doing when they talk, and how you can train your ears to understand much more.
And before we begin, if you're enjoying AlienLingo and want to improve your English every week, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.
Let's get started.
Okay, Mav, here's my first question. Why does English sound completely different in real life compared to lessons?
That's a great question. Let me ask you something first. When you learned English in school, how did teachers usually pronounce words?
Very clearly, slowly, one word at a time.
Exactly. For example, what are you doing?
Right, 4 separate words.
Now, listen to how many native speakers actually say it. What are you doing?
Hold on, that's the same sentence?
Yes.
No way.
It is. And this is where many learners get confused. They're waiting to hear 4 clear words. Instead, they hear a completely different sound.
So my brain is looking for textbook English.
Exactly. But real English is often connected.
Connected?
Native speakers don't usually stop after every word. The sounds flow together. Words connect. Letters disappear. Pronunciations change.
Can you give more examples?
Of course. Want to becomes wanna.
I've heard that one.
Going to becomes gonna.
Definitely heard that too.
Did you often sounds like didya.
Okay, that one surprised me the first time I heard it.
And here's another. Let me becomes lemme.
Wow, when you put them side by side, it suddenly makes sense.
Exactly. The problem is that most learners never learn these patterns. They learn the formal version, then they hear the real version and think native speakers are speaking at lightning speed.
So English sounds fast because it changes shape.
That's a great way to describe it. The words are still there, they're just wearing different clothes. I like that. Imagine you know your friend very well. One day your friend wears sunglasses, a hat, and a big jacket. You might need a second to recognize them. But it's still the same person. Exactly. And it's the same with spoken English. The sentence hasn't changed. The pronunciation has. That actually makes me feel better. Why? Because I always thought my listening skills were terrible. Most learners think that, but often they're not bad listeners. They're simply unfamiliar with connected speech.
Connected speech.
That sounds important. It is. In fact, understanding connected speech is one of the biggest keys to understanding native speakers.
So if I want better listening skills, I need to learn how words connect.
Exactly. And now, let's talk about another mistake that causes a lot of problems.
Uh-oh, what mistake?
Trying to hear every single word.
Wait, isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Not really.
Seriously?
Think about this. If I say, I was gonna go there, but I couldn't make it, do you need to understand every word to understand the message?
Not really. You're saying you planned to go somewhere but couldn't go.
Exactly. You understood the idea. That's what matters.
So listening isn't about collecting every word.
No, listening is about understanding meaning.
That sounds simple.
It is simple, but many learners make it complicated.
How?
They hear one unfamiliar word and immediately panic.
I've done that.
Most people have. The speaker continues talking, but the learner is still thinking about the word they missed.
And then they miss the next 5 words too.
Exactly. It's like dropping your phone while walking and stopping in the middle of the road. Everything behind you keeps moving.
That's a painful but accurate example.
Here's something important. Native speakers miss words too.
Really?
Of course. Nobody hears 100% of everything all the time, but native speakers focus on the overall message. They keep listening. They use context. Context seems really powerful. It is. Let's try an example. Imagine someone says, "Sorry I'm running late, traffic is terrible." Even if you miss one word, you can probably understand what's happening. Someone is late because of traffic. Exactly. You don't need perfect listening. You need effective listening. I think a lot of learners need to hear that. Definitely. Because perfection is impossible. Understanding is the goal.
Okay, Mav, I have another question. Go ahead. Why can I understand subtitles so much better than spoken English?
That's a fantastic question, and the answer surprises many people. Your reading skills are often stronger than your listening skills. That makes sense. But there's another problem. Many learners accidentally train themselves to read instead of listen.
Wait, how?
Imagine you're watching a movie with subtitles. Where are your eyes? On the subtitles. Exactly. Your brain starts focusing on reading. The audio becomes background noise.
Oh wow, I've never thought about that.
A lot of learners do this for years. They believe they're practicing listening, but they're actually practicing reading.
So subtitles aren't always helping.
Not always. They're useful, but only if you use them correctly. What's the better method? 3 steps. First, watch without subtitles. Even if I don't understand everything, especially if you don't understand everything, try your best, focus on meaning. Okay, what's next? Watch again with subtitles. Now check what you missed. That sounds smart. Then watch one more time without subtitles. So my brain connects the sounds with the words. Exactly. That's when real listening improvement happens. I wish someone had told me this years ago. Many learners say the same thing. All right, Mav, we've talked about connected speech. We've talked about listening for meaning. Now tell me how to actually improve. Perfect. Let's talk about training, because understanding fast English is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice.
What's the first exercise?
Daily listening. That's it? Yes. Simple but powerful. 5 to 10 minutes every day. Not 1 hour once a week. No. Consistency beats intensity. Your brain learns patterns through repetition. What should people listen to? Podcasts, videos, TV shows, interviews, anything interesting. Interesting is important. Very important. If you're bored, you'll quit. Fair point. Exercise number 2 is shadowing. I've heard that word before. Shadowing means listening and repeating immediately, like an echo. Can you demonstrate? Sure. I say, "How's it going?" How's it going? Exactly. You're copying the sounds, rhythm, and pronunciation.
So I'm training my ears and my mouth at the same time.
Exactly. That's why shadowing is so powerful.
What's exercise number 3?
Prediction. Prediction. When you're listening, try to guess what comes next.
Like finishing someone's sentence.
Yes, your brain becomes active instead of passive, and active listeners improve faster.
That actually sounds fun.
It is, and it makes listening much easier over time. Before we finish, can you give everyone a simple action plan? Absolutely. For the next 7 days, listen to English for at least 10 minutes daily. Learn 5 connected speech patterns. Practice shadowing for 5 minutes. Watch videos without subtitles first. Focus on meaning instead of perfection. And most importantly, don't panic when you miss words.
I love that last one.
Because it's true. Missing a word doesn't mean you failed. Keep listening, stay focused on the message, trust the process.
And remember, native speakers aren't speaking a completely different language.
Exactly. They're speaking English. You just need to learn how real English sounds.
And once you do, everything starts becoming easier.
Little by little, day by day. Well, Earthlings, that's all for today's episode. We hope this helped you understand why English sounds fast and what you can do about it.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like the video.
Subscribe to AlienLingo.
And turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode.
We upload new English learning content every week.
Thanks for spending time with us today.
Keep practicing, keep learning.
And remember,
you've got this.
See you next time, Earthlings.
Bye, everyone.